The afternoon sun painted the bustling Grand Central Station in hues of amber and gold, casting long shadows across the marble floors that had witnessed millions of stories. Among the sea of rushing commuters, designer briefcases, and clicking heels, stood Marcus Wellington, a distinguished man in his late 60s whose silver-threaded hair gleamed under the cathedral-like skylights. His tailored navy suit and polished Oxfords spoke of old money and refined taste, but his white cane and the gentle, searching movements of his head told a different story entirely. Marcus had lost his sight 3 years ago to a degenerative condition, but he'd never lost his dignity. Once a renowned architect who designed some of the city's most iconic buildings, he now navigated a world of sounds, textures, and remembered spaces. Today, he was attempting something monumental, traveling alone to his granddaughter's piano recital across town, determined to prove to himself that blindness hadn't stolen his independence. But Grand Central during rush hour was a symphony of chaos. "Excuse me?" Coming through. Voices barked around him. The click-clack of heels, the rumble of rolling suitcases, the echoing announcements, it all blended into an overwhelming cacophony. Marcus's confident stride from moments ago had dissolved into hesitant shuffles. His cane swept left and right, but the crowd seemed to flow around him like water around a stone, indifferent to his struggle. He could feel the panic rising in his chest. Where was the information desk? Had he turned right or left? The spatial map he'd carefully constructed in his mind was crumbling. Then, cutting through the noise like a bell, came a small voice. "Excuse me, sir. Are you lost?" Marcus turned toward the sound. Yes. I believe I might be. I'm Tommy. I'm 7 years old." Well, almost 7 3/4. There was a brightness in the boy's voice that made Marcus smile, despite his anxiety. "Where do you need to go?" Marcus felt a small hand gently touch his arm, not grabbing, not pulling, but asking permission. The gesture was so unexpectedly thoughtful that Marcus felt a lump form in his throat. "I need to get to platform 23, son, the express train to Riverside. I know where that is. My mom and me take that train sometimes. Can I help you?" Before Marcus could respond, a woman's voice joined them, warm, slightly breathless. "Tommy, baby, what are you, oh?" Marcus heard the woman's sharp intake of breath as she took in the situation. "Mom, this gentleman needs help getting to platform 23. Can we help him?" "Please. You always say we should help people when they need it." There was a pause, and Marcus straightened his shoulders, preparing for the polite excuse, the hurried retreat. It was what usually happened. People were busy. They had places to be. "Of course we can help," the woman said softly, and Marcus detected something in her voice, not pity, but genuine warmth. "I'm Sarah. This is my son, Tommy. We'd be honored to help you." "Marcus Wellington," he replied, his voice thick with unexpected emotion. "And I would be grateful for the assistance." What happened next would change all three of them forever. Tommy didn't just lead Marcus. He narrated the world. "Okay, Mr. Wellington, we're going to go straight for about 20 steps. The floor is going to change from smooth to a little bumpy in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, feel that?" Marcus felt the textural change beneath his shoes and nodded, amazed. "Now we're passing the big clock. That's the famous one. The one with the opal in the middle. That's worth like $1 bajillion. Can you feel how the sound changes here? It's like more echoey." Marcus listened and realized the boy was right. The acoustics had shifted, the cathedral ceiling above the main concourse creating that distinctive resonance. "Tommy's obsessed with how things sound," Sarah explained, walking on Marcus's other side. "He closes his eyes and makes me guess what room we're in, just by the echoes." A sophisticated young man, Marcus said with a genuine smile. "That's architectural acoustics, Tommy, when I could see. I used to design buildings with exactly those principles in mind." "Really? That's so cool. What buildings did you make?" As they walked, Marcus found himself talking about the Crystal Tower on 5th Avenue. The Harmony Concert Hall, the Riverside Children's Hospital buildings he'd poured his soul into. Tommy listened with rapt attention, asking questions that showed an unusual depth of understanding for such a young child. But it was Tommy's continued narration that truly amazed Marcus. 3 ladies coming on your right, Mr. Wellington. They're not paying attention, looking at their phones. They passed. Now there's a man with a big suitcase on your left. Don't worry, he's giving us lots of room. Oh, the smell just changed. Can you smell the coffee? That means we're near the cafe, and, okay, stairs coming up in 5 steps. There are 11 steps. I counted them once. Want me to count as we go down? Please do, Marcus said, and his voice cracked slightly. No one had ever helped him like this. Most people either grabbed his arm and pulled him along like luggage, or they provided no information at all, leaving him blind in every sense of the word. But Tommy was painting the world for him with words, sounds, and sensory details. As they descended the stairs, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We made it. Sarah spoke quietly to Marcus. I should tell you something, she said. Tommy and we've been going through a hard time. His father left us 6 months ago, and money's been tight. Some days, Tommy asks me why bad things happen to good people. Why his dad didn't love us enough to stay. I never know what to say. Marcus heard the tremor in her voice and understood the deeper meaning of this moment. This wasn't just about him getting to a train. May I tell you something, Sarah? Marcus said. 3 years ago, when I lost my sight, I thought my life was over. I defined myself by what I could see, what I could create with my own eyes. I was angry at the world, angry at God, angry at every person who could see when I couldn't. But today, your son has given me something precious. He's shown me that sometimes we need to lose one thing to discover another. I may have lost my sight, but I'm seeing something beautiful right now. Genuine kindness from a pure heart. Platform 23, straight ahead, Tommy announced proudly. And your train is here. I can hear it. We made it right on time, Mr. Wellington. They reached the platform, and Marcus realized he didn't want this to end. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out his card holder. His fingers, practiced from months of trial, found the raised text business cards he'd had specially made. Tommy, Sarah, I want you to have this. I run a foundation now, the Wellington Foundation for Accessible Design. We teach young people about creating spaces that everyone can use, whether they can see or not. He pressed cards into both their hands. Tommy, would you consider joining our Junior Architects program this summer? We need young minds like yours minds that understand how to see the world in different ways. Really? Tommy's voice squeaked with excitement. Mom, can I please? The program is fully funded, Marcus added quickly. Scholarship covers everything, including materials and lunch. And Sarah, we're always looking for parent volunteers. If you're interested, there's a part-time coordinator position open. Nothing glamorous, but it pays fairly and has benefits. Sarah's gasp was audible. Mr. Wellington, you don't have to. I'm not offering out of pity. Marcus interrupted gently. I'm offering because your son has a gift. He sees the world the way architects should see it, with empathy, with attention to detail, with consideration for others. And you've raised him to have the rarest quality of all, a generous heart. The train's departure. Announcement crackled overhead. I have to go, Marcus said, but I hope I'll see you both, metaphorically speaking, very soon. Wait. Tommy's small hand pressed something into Marcus's palm. This is my lucky rabbit's foot. My grandpa gave it to me before he went to heaven. I want you to have it for your trip. Marcus's fingers closed around the small, soft object, and he felt tears threatening. Tommy, I can't take something so precious. You can give it back when we see you again, Tommy said, with the simple certainty of a child. That way, you have to come back. Sarah's voice was thick with emotion. Thank you, Mr. Wellington. You've given us something today, too. Hope. as Marcus boarded the train and found his seat. He clutched the rabbit's foot in one hand and pulled out his phone with the other. His accessibility app read out Sarah's number from her card, and he sent a quick message to his assistant about the position, marking it urgent. When he arrived at the recital 45 minutes later, his granddaughter ran to him. "Grandpa, you made it? All by yourself." "Not quite all by myself, sweetheart," Marcus said, settling into his seat as the first piano notes filled the air. "I had help from an angel, a 7-year-old angel with a gift for narrating the world." The music washed over him, Chopin's Nocturne in E-flat major, and Marcus realized something profound. He was listening to this music differently than he ever had when he could see. He was hearing layers and nuances he'd missed before. The world hadn't ended when he lost his sight. It had simply transformed into something different, something that required guides like Tommy to help him appreciate it. 3 months later, Marcus stood well, sat at the opening ceremony of the Wellington Foundation's summer program. 25 children surrounded him in the specially designed sensory architecture lab, their excited chatter filling the space. But one voice rose above the rest. "Mr. Wellington, I drew you a picture, I made you a tactile drawing on the special paper you told us about." Tommy's hand guided Marcus's fingers over the raised line drawing. It was a building fantastical and imaginative, with what felt like bridges, towers, and gardens all interconnected. "It's called the House of Kindness," Tommy explained. "See, it has these paths that connect all the rooms, so nobody ever feels lost. And every door makes a different sound when it opens, so people who can't see know where they are and hear feel this part. This is a garden where everything smells different in each section. Roses here, mint there, lavender over there. So people can navigate by smell." Marcus's hands trembled as he explored the drawing. This child understood. This 7-year-old boy grasped concepts that some of his graduate students had struggled with. "It's brilliant, Tommy," Marcus whispered. "Absolutely brilliant." Sarah appeared beside them. "He's been sketching nonstop since we got into the program. Mr. Wellington, I don't know how to thank you. The job has changed our lives. We moved to a better apartment. Tommy's in a good school now. We're going to be okay." "You saved me first," Marcus reminded her. "That day in Grand Central, I was drowning. You and Tommy threw me a lifeline." This, he gestured around the room. "This is just returning the favor." But it was more than that. Tommy's kindness had reminded Marcus of something he'd forgotten in his bitterness and grief, that loss could be transformed into purpose, that what seemed like an ending could be a beginning, and that sometimes the smallest hands can guide us toward the biggest revelations. That evening, as the summer sun painted the sky in colors Marcus could only remember, he stood on his balcony with his assistant, reading him Tommy's latest design proposal. The boy had sketched an entire city block redesigned for universal accessibility benches that played soft music to mark locations, textured pathways, fragrance gardens, and acoustic landmarks. Marcus smiled and pulled out his phone. "Call the mayor's office," he told his assistant. "I think we have a proposal she needs to see. And tell them it was designed by our youngest consultant, because that's what Tommy had become, not just a student, but a teacher. Teaching Marcus and everyone around him that true vision has nothing to do with eyes and everything to do with heart. That navigation isn't just about knowing where you're going, but about being willing to help others find their way. And sometimes in the most unexpected moments. In the chaos of a crowded station, between a blind man who lost his way and a little boy with more wisdom than his years should hold, miracles don't just happen, they're created. One kind word, one gentle touch, one narrated step at a time.